In a crowded city filled with noise, traffic, and fast-moving lives, John lived a quiet life with his daughter Jennifer. Each morning, he would drop her off at college with a smile, proud of the kind, intelligent young woman she was becoming. Jennifer, just 18, was full of life. She made friends quickly and loved her new college. But trouble had found her in the form of a group of 4 arrogant boys who roamed the campus like they owned it. Their leader, Chisto, was the spoiled son of a powerful local thug. What started as teasing quickly turned into harassment. They followed her, laughed at her discomfort, and wouldn't stop no matter how many times she asked them to back off. Jennifer eventually told John everything. He listened without emotion, but behind his calm eyes, something stirred. The next day, he waited near the college wall where the boys usually gathered. The moment they saw him, their laughter grew louder, mocking the old man with graying hair. But one of them, the youngest, recognized him. His hands began to tremble. That night, as Jennifer returned home from a friend's house, a van skidded to a stop beside her. She screamed, but no one heard. The next scene was cold and sterile. The hospital, her face bruised, blood on her scalp, her breath shallow. John stood over her, silent, while the doctor explained the severity of her injuries. The moment he held her hand, a part of him broke. Then deep inside, something else awakened. He remembered the smoke, the screams, the way his hands used to shake with rage and bloodlust in his old life. He had left all that behind, but now they had brought it back to his doorstep. Back at his garage, John unlocked an old drawer he hadn't touched in years. Inside were the remains of his former life, an old pistol, a sharp combat knife, and a burner phone. Without hesitation, he dialed a number he swore he'd never call again. The voice on the other side didn't sound surprised. They knew this day might come. John's revenge began like a shadow sweeping through the city. His first target was the lookout boy, the one who always stood near the college gate. John waited near a car park, and when the boy was alone, he dragged him into the shadows. The boy cried, begged, and spilled everything. Names, locations. Fear made his voice tremble. John knocked him out cold and disappeared before anyone saw. The second was the driver of the van. John followed him to a local bar. Inside in the restroom, he locked the door and ended it silently. No noise, no witness. The third target was the muscle of the group, the one who did the beating. He was hiding in a crumbling warehouse on the edge of the city. The fight was brutal. John was older now, slower, but his rage gave him strength. Blood poured down his arm from a knife wound, but he didn't stop until the man stopped breathing. But just as John was closing in on Chisto, something unexpected happened. At Jennifer's hospital room, a nurse found a note hidden in Jennifer's clothes. It was crumpled, almost torn. It simply read, "Help me. I know who they are. I didn't want this." It was signed by one of the boys, Marco, the youngest one, the same one who had trembled in fear when he first saw John. Jennifer had somehow made him feel guilt before the attack, and now it seemed he wanted to make things right. John found Marco hiding in a shelter on the city's edge. Instead of running, Marco surrendered. He was crying not for himself, but for Jennifer. He told John that it was never meant to go that far, that Chisto snapped when Jennifer called him pathetic and tried to defend herself. Marco had tried to stop it. When he failed, he ran. John had a choice: kill the boy and continue the path of revenge, or use him. With Marco's help, John tracked down Chisto's hideout. But this time, it wasn't a quiet kill. Chisto was ready, guarded by his father's men. John walked straight into the lion's den with nothing but a knife, his rage and the knowledge that he had nothing left to lose. The fight was chaos. Gunshots echoed. Bodies fell. John took hits, deep and dangerous, but he kept going. In the final moment, face to face with Chisto, John didn't say a word. He just looked into the boy's terrified eyes and did what had to be done. As dawn broke, John stumbled back into the hospital, blood on his clothes but peace in his eyes. Jennifer was still asleep, but her fingers twitched slightly, as if sensing he was there. John sat beside her, his hands stained red, but for the first time in days, his heart was still. The city outside kept moving, never knowing what had happened in its dark corners. But in one hospital room, a father had reclaimed his reason.